There are two things that really stand out about the Galaxy Fold. Obviously, the massive screen when you unfold, and the $2,000 price tag. This phone will get noticed when you put it on a table, whether it's at a boardroom or in a coffee shop. The Galaxy Fold is kind of like two thin phones sandwiched together. You might think that it's heavy, but it's actually not. It's about 260 grams in weight, which is about 10% more than the iPhone 11 Pro Max, so pretty good in your hand. With the phone folded, you see the power button, the volume connectors, the SIM tray, and the fingerprint sensor here on the front edge of the phone. I do wish that the fingerprint sensor was part of the power button like they've done with the Galaxy S10e, but that's not the case. You do have speakers at the bottom and at the top, along with microphones, and the Type-C connector as well sits on the bottom. And obviously the camera setup is present on the back. So that's the back side. We can see how reflective it is. It's also very fingerprint friendly. I've literally just cleaned it with the microfiber cloth, but I mean, look at that. I'm not sure if the camera's picking that up, but you pick up the phone, you start using it, and this is gonna get dirty really, really fast. The highlighting feature of the Galaxy Fold is the massive 7.3-inch screen when you unfold it. We haven't seen anything like this before. It's a massive screen, beautiful to view content in, great for browsing. Here's just what the browser kind of looks like. The one thing that I've noticed is that the right side of the screen scrolls a little bit slower than the left side, so I'm not sure if the camera catches this, but again, not a lot of people could see this, but on my eyes, when you're scrolling fast, you can see the horizontal lines kind of bend left or right depending on the direction you're scrolling. The screen is a plastic screen, so you have to be a little bit careful when you're using the phone. Make sure you're not using your nails or anything else against the screen, which could cause it to scratch. So far, I've been quite okay with it. I haven't managed to dent it, but you have to be careful with it. Samsung has added some protection as to where the screen folds, just to make sure you don't get anything inside the screen to break it. But again, this is not water resistant, so you can't just have this phone on the sink where you're shaving or on the grass in a park. You have to be very careful when you're using the Fold. So whatever content you're consuming on this front screen automatically shifts to the inside screen once you unfold the unit. Now, there is an option to bring whatever you have here back on the front screen when you fold it back. There's a setting on there that lets you do that. As big as the screen is, there's a little notch up on the top right corner. I don't think Samsung could have avoided that based on the camera technology that's present on the Fold, but maybe a different design direction might help us with future Fold phones where we have a full screen experience. When it comes to the crease where the screen folds, it's not super visible, especially when you have a lighter background. It is a bit more visible under darker backgrounds, but you know what? You don't see it after a few days of use. The front screen is a little too small to be used for normal things as an Android phone. You've got large bezels above and below it. What I would have preferred is a slightly wider phone. Maybe Samsung could have made it slightly thinner. I understand that batteries need to go in on each side of the screen, but I would have preferred a slightly wider phone with slightly narrower or thinner form factor. Using the front screen to take calls is easy, but if you have to type something out, the keyboard is a little bit small and cramped up. It's not the best experience. One of the issues that I've had with the phone, and people with aging eyes can probably agree with me on this, is that the fonts on the front screen are a bit too small. Now, there is an option to change the font size in Android settings, but if you do that, the fonts on the inside screen also become massive, and that is not a great experience. I do hope that Samsung in a future update allows you to change the font sizes between the outside and the inside screen separately. The camera on the Galaxy Fold is similar to what you got on the Note 10, which means it's a pretty good camera, not necessarily the best camera in the industry, but right up there. What is awesome about the camera is the massive viewfinder you get when you unfold the screen. It's just a great experience, unlike any other phone that you've tested. Battery life's been great on the Galaxy Fold. There hasn't been a single day where I've run out of charge. Now, I haven't used the device for a couple of days, but as you can see, 5 days, 13 hours, and we still have 20% juice left, so it is quite good. Regarding the pocketability of this phone, you've got the two sides coming together, and yes, it is a bit thick, but you know what, it's fine. I didn't really have much issues carrying it. As good as the Galaxy Fold is, I'm not sure if it's a phone for everyone. I think Samsung's done well by pricing it at $2,000 or roughly 7,000 dirhams, because they don't want everyone buying this phone and using it on a daily basis and possibly breaking it. It's the first generation of foldable phones, and I think that it's a great first generation product, but I think for the average user, they do need to wait for a year or maybe 2 years until we get to see where foldable phones take us. This is Abbas signing out, and for everything related to the world of tech, stay tuned to TechRadar.com.